Most rock music fans know Paul Stanley as the dynamic and flamboyant frontman from hard rock legends Kiss. But today, the Star Child gives a masterclass on how to deal with a pushy reporter from gossip website TMZ. So stick around. Cat Stanley Space Demons coming at you. Okay, so back in April 2023, Kiss frontman Paul Stanley made controversial comments in a social media post describing the encouragement of children to pursue gender transition as a sad and dangerous fad. In his post titled, "My Thoughts on What I'm Seeing," Stanley distinguished between teaching acceptance of transgender individuals and normalizing and even encouraging participation in a lifestyle that confuses young children. He stated that adults can choose reassignment, but argued that children lacking a developed sense of sexuality should not be directed toward gender transition based on innocent behaviors. He also claimed that some adults were misinterpreting acceptance as encouragement and turning a serious issue into a sad and dangerous fad. Now, Stanley's comments sparked varied reactions from his contemporaries in the rock community. Critics highlighted the perceived irony of a rock star known for wearing makeup and heels making these statements, including Offspring guitarist Kevin Wasserwoman, aka Noodles. He expressed his disappointment in Stanley, suggesting Kiss's imagery might have been just gimmickry. Really, Kevin? You think that Kiss's image was a gimmick? You think they just did that for the money? You don't think they were really the demon or really the Star Child? Ace was really the spaceman. But here's what Wasserwoman said. He says, "This is a very disappointing take, especially from someone who wore high heels, makeup, and teased up hair his whole career. As a young kid, your band helped teach me that I could be whatever I wanted to be. I guess it was just gimmickry after all." Now, I don't know how he's making an analogy from Paul Stanley, the Star Child, who put on a costume and wore makeup for 2 hours a night as part of a performance on stage, to minor children having gender surgery that's going to affect them the rest of their lives, surgeries in most cases that are irreversible. I really don't get the comparison there, but you know, I always thought the Offspring sucked. I remember when that song, "You Gotta Keep 'Em Separated," came out. I couldn't stand that song. I guess it was supposed to be about gun control or something like that. And then years later they came out with that stupid song, "Pretty Fly for a White Guy," which I guess was their stab at comedy rock. Hey, look at us. Not only can we write socially conscious punk rock songs, we can write hip-hop songs with self-deprecating lyrics. We're one of those hip bands that can't be categorized by a single genre. And we all have cool names like Noodles. And we have all kinds of weird tats and piercings, and we ride skateboards. But there were other musicians who publicly supported Stanley's comments, including his arch nemesis, Twisted Sister frontman Dee Snider, who tweeted, "You know what? There was a time where I felt pretty too. Glad my parents didn't jump to any rash conclusions." And professional wrestler Chris Jericho, aka Y2J, who also fronts his own rock band Fozzy, he retweeted Paul's comments to his 3.5 million followers without further comment. Now, Paul Stanley would issue a follow-up statement a few days later, clarifying his earlier remarks. While he didn't retract his original comments, he expressed support for those struggling with their sexual identity while enduring constant hostility, and found it hard to fathom the conviction required for reassignment surgery. He concluded that social media wasn't adequate for fully explaining his views, but apparently those comments weren't satisfying enough to the folks over at TMZ. And I want to take a look at this clip of some pushy reporter from TMZ trying to goad Paul Stanley into making comments. Let's take a look.
Hey Paul, how are you doing? It's fantastic to see you. Can I ask you, it's the first day of Pride Month for June.
Yes?
Can I ask if you have a message for the transgender community celebrating Pride this month?
I think everybody has a right to be who they are.
Yeah.
And, you know, life's too short to be anyone else.
Yeah?
And that's it.
And celebrate who they are?
Well, everybody should celebrate who they are.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, be proud of who you are as long as this is something worth being proud of.
Yeah, and transgenders being worth proud of course.
I love how Paul Stanley answers this question.
Well, you know, that isn't what's what's the criteria for being proud is being a good person, not transgender or any other gender.
Sure, no matter who you are.
You got it.
Can I ask, is Kiss going to do anything to celebrate Pride?
No.
I know that you said you weren't clear in your message. Would you like to clarify sort of the things you said now?
No, but thank you.
Thank you, Paul.
Okay, so there you have it. Paul Stanley says that regardless of gender, celebrate who you are as long as you are a good person, and that is what is important. And being a good person is worth celebrating. And how can you disagree with that? That's why I like Paul Stanley. In addition to all the great tunes and all the great singing and the caterwauling between songs, all you people over here, Paul Stanley the Star Child, killing it and putting this pushy reporter in their place. Let me know what you think in the comments. Hope you dug the video, and we'll see you next time.
I have a 9-inch dick.
Who's here?